Tell a bit of a story. So, any guesses? Any guesses?
No idea what those are.
So,
Each of all my past girlfriends.
we'll just move past that. So, the 29 comes from a Cisco study that says bandwidth, compound annual growth rate. That means on an annual basis, across enterprises in the U.S., they're seeing a 29% increase in bandwidth that's needed year over year. When's the last time you had one of your users ask you for less bandwidth?
Never. It's always more.
So, is that, in your network environment, does that seem pretty accurate?
I'd say it's even low.
Conservative?
Yeah.
Not surprising. 150, this is a big one. There's a Business Week study that says $150,000 is the amount of revenue lost by enterprises due to network outages, due to network downtime. Your organization may be more, maybe less. There's a number of factors that go into this. It could be, hey, I pay my employees $10 an hour, $15 an hour, and if we're down for an hour, they're doing nothing. It could be, well, my customers who we do business with aren't placing orders during that downtime, etc. So you think of all the different things that can feed that. And again, I feel that number could be conservative. I don't know about y'all's organization, but from a standard, that's what we're seeing.
Yeah.
And this number ties in as well, ties into both of these other numbers. 86%. This is a statistic that says if a customer of yours or a potential customer of yours tries to get in touch with your organization, whether that be via the internet, your website, call you on the phone, during an outage, 86% of those customers who reached out during that outage are going to go to one of your competitors. They're not going to try and call you again. They're not going to try and go to your website again. They're going to go once. If they can't get access, they're going to go somewhere else. Feeds right into this, that $150,000 in lost revenue. And it all backs up to this, bandwidth needs. And what are your thoughts on that? Does that seem pretty accurate for your organization? Have you guys even done any of the research?
No, it's just kind of what you feel.
Most of my customers have it.
Yeah.
So, I like to look at it this way. Here's you, IT. And up here, you've got CEO, CFO, board of directors, the powers that be. And there's always demand increasing year over year. I assume that your upper level management looks to make an increase in revenue, a reduction in cost from last year's performance. Is that accurate? So you've got, do what?
Squeezing.
Most companies are doing that, always trying to grow. So you've got demand from upper level management. You've already got your list of responsibilities. Now that you mentioned in our last one that you managed a trouble. Anybody who opens up a trouble ticket, you manage that help desk. You told me that you manage your routers and firewalls. You've got a couple of people employed, staff that you supervise and manage as well. You've talked about some of the cloud computing initiatives that you guys have, et cetera, et cetera. This list seems to get bigger, I assume. And so as this list continues to grow, demand for management continues to increase. In our last conversation, you mentioned that today you guys have got a 3 meg internet connection with your current carrier. A 3 meg internet connection, we refer to this as the capacity cliff. And you've got 3 meg. As this happens, as your bandwidth demands grow, because you've got more initiatives that demand bandwidth, you've got initiatives coming from upper management that demand more bandwidth, you have more customers, you have more employees, your bandwidth demands go up. You've still only got 3 meg, so then you're left with a decision. How long can I make this work before I have to upgrade and go to, say, a 4.5 meg internet circuit, which is going to cost me money? And I know you mentioned that's what you guys did when you had 1T1. You had 1T1, got a little tight for you guys, but you had to buy some time to figure out when can we justify from a budget standpoint bumping out to the 3 meg. And at some point in the future, that 29% growth that you're seeing, you're going to have to do that again to go to 4.5 meg. And as the future goes on and that line continues to go up, you'll have to do it again. And that brings up uncertainty, right? You don't know, is 3 meg going to be enough? Is 4.5 meg going to be enough? Is the carrier going to get it installed? Is it going to work properly? Those kinds of things. You mentioned to me in your last appointment that there's already been some finger pointing from time to time between your current carrier and AT&T who they get their lines from. And so anytime you make these changes on the network, there's always a potential risk of something going awry, something not working properly. Would you agree? Have I covered all that accurately?
That sounds typical day.
Okay. So, question I have is, what would it be like? What would it mean to you if we could provide a solution that day one gave you an increase in what you currently have and can incrementally scale and increase parallel to your business needs? So you wouldn't have this stair-step action of going through times of having to deal with lower bandwidth and then having to increase and justify the budget. What would that mean to your organization?
One word, easy.
So, and here's how we do that. I'll quantify this a little bit. Got a fiber network that will bring fiber optics all the way into your telco closet that give you the capacity of up to 1 gig. Now, let's pretend that this guy doesn't exist for just a minute. What would it be like if you had a 1 gig internet connection?
Oh, that'd be crazy.
Be pretty nice.
Yeah.
So, I understand that, maybe from a budget perspective, we can't go from 3 meg to 1 gig. However, you've got a gig capacity. So if you guys ever grew to that point, that's fine. You've got that and capacity to grow to. You mentioned, we talked just briefly earlier about the finger pointing that you've seen with your current carrier. I hear it from a lot of my customers. In fact, Rogers Wealth Group is a customer of ours that was having a lot of the same issues that you guys were. They were going to be doing some cloud computing. They were using a CLEC. They had already experienced some finger pointing and were looking for a company that could grow with them. We own our whole network through and through, from where it hits the internet all the way into your telco closet. So there's nobody for us to point the finger at. And the way that we support our customers is through one phone number. It's technology. Anybody who stands up here and says that you're never going to have an issue as long as you're with them is either lying or doesn't know better. It's technology. There are hiccups along the way. And the way that we address that is we give you one number. You press one prompt, you get a live engineer on the phone, stateside, here in the States call center, that is reserved only for fiber optic customers. So 90% of the time when somebody calls in and speaks with our engineers, that problem is solved the first call and by the same person. How would that differ from what you're doing today with your current carrier?
Yeah.
A little better?
Yeah, I hope.
Good. So the short of it is, looking to start off with an internet circuit that's 20 meg. It's over 4 times what you currently have in place. And again, you can scale up to 1 gig easily. That's our availability guarantee and our service level agreement. All that says is that the internet that we provide all the way into your telco closet is guaranteed 99.95% of the time. If there's ever an issue with that, one company, one number to take care of that for you. And the last piece of it is, even though we're giving you a superior solution, 4 times the bandwidth, 1 gig, one company, one number, we can do so without being a detriment to your budget. So that said, what are your thoughts?
I like it.
What should our next step be?
Come back in a week.
How about you sign here?